Ever felt like you're watching two different movies when it comes to news about India? One, painted with broad, often negative strokes by foreign media. The other, a complex, vibrant reality you know and experience? What if I told you there's an unseen reality, a silent narrative whispered in the shadows of headlines, that impacts how the world sees one of its most fascinating nations? Prepare to have your perceptions challenged. We're diving deep into the intricate tapestry of foreign media's coverage of India, revealing its hidden nuances, its glaring omissions, and the profound impact it has on the global stage. This isn't just about news. It's about understanding the very fabric of perception. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single word. First up, let's unravel the crisis narrative conundrum. It's almost as if some foreign outlets have a pre-written script. Find a crisis, amplify it, make it the defining image of India. But here's the mind-bending mystery. Is it about genuine reporting, or is it a calculated pattern? Think of it like this: a single, isolated incident, perhaps a local protest or a specific social challenge, gets blown up into a nationwide catastrophe. The context vanishes, the nuances erased, the positive counter-narratives ignored. This isn't to say problems don't exist. Every nation has its struggles. But when these isolated incidents become the sole lens through which a country of 1.4 billion is viewed, you're not getting a complete picture. You're getting a caricature. The benefit for these media houses? It creates a dramatic, easily digestible storyline that grabs attention. Asterisk, it's the if it bleeds, it leads mentality, but applied to an entire nation. Asterisk, the downside? It distorts reality for global audiences, fostering misconceptions and, quite frankly, hindering genuine understanding and constructive dialogue. It's like judging a masterpiece by looking only at a single crack in its frame. Next, we confront the exotic gaze distortion. This isn't just about what's reported, but how it's reported. It's the persistent fascination with an exotic, often backward, version of India that feels stuck in a time warp. You'll often find phrases like ancient land, mystical traditions, or focusing solely on poverty porn, completely sidelining India's colossal advancements in science, technology, and economic growth. The mystery here is, why are modern skyscrapers ignored for dusty villages? Unless it fits a predetermined narrative of otherness, they cherry-pick visuals and stories that reinforce a preconceived notion of India as a land of stark contrasts, often overlooking the dynamic, rapidly modernizing society it truly is. This exotic gaze can be subtly insidious. It romanticizes certain aspects while simultaneously infantilizing others. It creates a mental shortcut for the viewer, preventing them from seeing India as a contemporary global player. It's almost as if they're saying, look, India is still living in the past. Isn't that charmingly peculiar? While ignoring the very real, very present challenges and triumphs of a nation moving at breakneck speed. Now, let's talk about the narrative echo chamber effect. This is where the mystery truly deepens. How does a single narrative, often skewed, gain such widespread traction and become the dominant global perception? A prominent foreign media outlet publishes a story with a particular angle. What often happens next is a chain reaction. Other outlets, perhaps under pressure to cover the same trending story, pick up on this angle, sometimes even re-reporting it without independent verification or deeper investigation. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, a feedback loop where a specific viewpoint amplifies itself. You'll notice striking similarities in headlines, key phrases, and even the choice of experts or interviewees. This echo chamber prevents diverse perspectives from breaking through. It reinforces biases, making it incredibly challenging for a more balanced understanding to emerge. It's not just about what they report, but what they don't report, and how that silence is then echoed across the global media landscape. Asterisk. This is a top movement in understanding media bias. When multiple sources seem to agree on a narrow portrayal, it's often a sign of an uncritical echo rather than independent discovery. Prepare to be intrigued by the selective expert phenomenon. This is where the narrative is not just built, but actively curated through the voices chosen to represent India. The mystery? Why do certain experts consistently get a platform while others, often more qualified and nuanced, remain unheard? When foreign media seeks commentary on India, they often gravitate towards a specific archetype of expert, someone whose views align with the pre-existing narrative they wish to promote. This could be someone with a strong critical stance, or perhaps an academic whose theories fit neatly into a Western-centric framework. You'll rarely hear from grassroots innovators, successful entrepreneurs, or the everyday people thriving in India's changing landscape. This isn't always malicious. Sometimes it's simply a matter of convenience or existing contacts. However, the consequence is a skewed representation. It creates a puppet show of perspectives, where only certain strings are pulled to make the desired narrative dance. The real-life example here is pervasive. Observe how often certain individuals are quoted repeatedly on India, while a vast ocean of diverse, insightful voices within India itself are overlooked. It's a subtle but powerful way to control the information flow and reinforce a particular viewpoint. Now, let's navigate the linguistic landmine of translation. This is where the subtlety of communication becomes a profound mystery. How can a single word, or a simple phrase, completely derail understanding when taken out of its cultural and linguistic context? India is a land of incredible linguistic diversity, brimming with metaphors, idioms, and cultural nuances that don't translate directly. Foreign media, often under tight deadlines and with limited in-country linguistic expertise, can fall into the trap of literal translation. A strong, declarative statement in a regional language, meant to convey conviction, might be translated as aggressive or confrontational, altering the perception of the speaker. Or a humorous local quip, when stripped of its cultural backdrop, can sound utterly bizarre or even offensive. This isn't just about vocabulary, it's about the soul of a language. The true understanding lies not just in the words themselves, but in the unspoken history, shared experiences, and emotional resonance they carry. When this is lost in translation, the entire character of an interaction or a viewpoint can be fundamentally misunderstood, leading to misinterpretations that perpetuate stereotypes. It's a key point often overlooked. The very words chosen and how they're translated can be a major spike in misunderstanding. Let's expose the prepackaged story arc trap. This is the mystery of why complex, multifaceted Indian realities are often forced into neat, familiar narrative boxes that don't quite fit. Western journalism often favors a particular story structure. Identify a clear problem, show the struggle, and then offer a concise resolution or a definitive conclusion. India's realities, however, are often far more fluid, cyclical, or involve multiple, interwoven layers that resist such simplistic categorization. A development project might have both positive and negative impacts simultaneously, or a social movement might evolve in ways that defy a clear win or loss. Foreign media, seeking to make stories digestible for their audience, can inadvertently oversimplify or even misrepresent these complexities by forcing them into a pre-existing narrative mold. This isn't about malicious intent, but about the inherent biases of storytelling frameworks. When you try to fit a multidimensional reality into a two-dimensional template, you lose crucial depth. It leads to shallow reporting that misses the profound, often contradictory, truths on the ground. Think of it as trying to summarize a 100-page epic novel into a single tweet. You'll miss most of the plot, characters, and subtext. Here's a profound mystery: the silence of success paradox. Why do India's groundbreaking achievements, stories of innovation, resilience, and monumental progress often remain conspicuously absent from major foreign news cycles? While problems get amplified, successes often go unnoticed or are given minimal coverage. India's digital revolution, its incredible strides in renewable energy, its role as a global pharmaceutical hub, or the sheer logistical marvel of its democratic elections. These are often relegated to niche publications or business sections, if they're covered at all. The narrative simply doesn't seem to include India succeeding on a grand scale as a primary storyline. This isn't just an omission, it's an active shaping of perception. If you only hear about the challenges, you never fully grasp the potential or the inherent strengths of a nation. This silence can inadvertently undermine investment, tourism, and even cultural exchange. It's a fascinating spike in the data when good news barely registers. It tells you something powerful about the underlying editorial philosophy. Next, we uncover the identity filter bias. This is a complex mystery. How do foreign media lenses, often shaped by their own societal concerns, filter and present Indian identities in ways that can be both reductive and misleading? When covering social issues in India, foreign media often applies a specific identity filter, focusing on certain demographic groups, like women, specific religious minorities, or particular castes, and frequently portraying them primarily as victims of systemic oppression. While these issues are undeniably real and require attention, the problem arises when this becomes the sole or dominant narrative. The complexity of agency, resistance, individual successes, and evolving social dynamics within these very groups is often overlooked. This bias often stems from a desire to highlight human rights issues, which is commendable. However, the unintended consequence can be a flattening of rich, multi-layered identities into simplistic archetypes. It fails to acknowledge the incredible resilience, entrepreneurial spirit, and diverse forms of empowerment that exist even amidst challenges. It's a crucial key point. Understanding how identity is framed can reveal deeper biases in the reporting itself. Let's peel back the layers on the historical amnesia blinder. The mystery here is profound. How can current events be reported as isolated incidents, completely detached from the rich, complex, and often painful historical context that shaped them? Many foreign media reports on India discuss contemporary issues, be it political dynamics, social tensions, or economic disparities, without acknowledging the deep roots these issues often have in colonial history, partition, or decades of post-independence policy. For example, a report on regional conflict might ignore the historical grievances or border disputes that have festered for centuries. A piece on social inequalities might omit the legacy of caste systems or colonial interventions that exacerbated existing divisions. This historical amnesia creates a fragmented understanding of India. It presents complex problems as if they sprang forth from a vacuum, rather than being the culmination of historical forces. Without this vital context, the reader or viewer is left with an incomplete, often misleading, picture, making it harder to truly grasp the nuances of India's present. It's a top movement in understanding sophisticated reporting, recognizing when historical context is conspicuously absent, thereby diminishing the depth of the narrative. Finally, we arrive at the most pervasive, yet perhaps most subtle, mystery: the single-story syndrome. This is the danger, as famously articulated, of reducing a vast, diverse nation to one singular, often negative, narrative. Foreign media, in its quest for simplicity and accessibility, often converges on a single, dominant story about India. Whether it's India as a land of poverty, India as a burgeoning economic power, or India as a nation grappling with social unrest, this one story becomes the defining characteristic. The sheer diversity, the 28 states, the thousands of languages, the myriad cultures, religions, and socio-economic realities gets flattened into a monochrome image. This isn't just about what's reported, but the absence of the vast, intricate tapestry of Indian life. The danger of the single story isn't that it's untrue, but that it's incomplete. It robs people of dignity, creates stereotypes, and makes our recognition of our equal humanity difficult. It prevents a holistic, empathetic understanding. Our podcast, through its unique words and engaging persona, strives to break this single story, revealing the multifaceted, dynamic, and truly unseen reality of India that lies beyond the headlines. It's about sparking curiosity, challenging assumptions, and inviting you to explore the true depths of this incredible nation. So, what have we uncovered in this journey? Through the unseen reality of foreign media's coverage of India, we've explored the crisis narrative conundrum, the distorting exotic gaze, the self-reinforcing narrative echo chamber, the subtle power of the selective expert, the crucial role of the linguistic landmine, the confining prepackaged story arc, the perplexing silence of success paradox, the limiting identity filter bias, and the glaring historical amnesia blinder. The key points are clear. Understanding media means looking beyond the headlines, questioning the framing, and actively seeking diverse perspectives. It's about recognizing the subtle power of unique words and the profound impact of what's not said. This podcast, with its engaging persona and commitment to truth, aims to be your guide in this complex landscape. We believe in sparking curiosity, challenging assumptions, and fostering a deeper, more nuanced understanding of India. If this deep dive has ignited a new perspective in you, if you felt that aha moment of understanding the unseen, then this is your top movement. Subscribe for more videos where we dissect global narratives, reveal hidden truths, and bring you conversations that truly matter. We're just getting started on this incredible journey of discovery. Thank you for watching, for listening, for daring to look beyond the surface. Your engagement, your curiosity, and your willingness to delve into these critical discussions mean the world to us. Now, don't just stop here. To continue unraveling these fascinating global narratives, click on this video right here, where we discuss the fascinating origins of modern media biases. You won't want to miss it.